Well, it turns out KSI didn't know what the dog was doing. He couldn't see John Cena, and he doesn't know Victoria's Secret. So the Misfits card just happened, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm really underwhelmed. Some of the fights were interesting, but really, in execution, a lot of them were just boring. And today we're gonna talk about the card. I'm not even gonna try and stretch it out to 10 minutes, don't worry. And of course, with these cards, there are always funny moments and kind of interesting things. But overall, I think this card just kind of highlights the problems with influencer boxing in its current state. And I really don't think it's looking good. I think this card might have ruined it forever, but we'll get into that later. First, let's have a little look at the card. So obviously we've all seen the promotion. I did a video about it a couple of days ago, and to be honest, it was quite painful at times.
I am the Nightmare, KSI!
If you do that again, I'm gonna punch you, I'm not kidding.
KSI obviously was the worst perpetrator of this. He was just chatting shit constantly. And if you've watched any of my videos, you're gonna know that I'm a big KSI fan. I mean, me and him, we get on really well, but with this promotion, it was just too much. The guy would just not stop. There's only so many times you can say you know what the dog is doing before it gets old. And unfortunately, he didn't know where the line was.
I think the biggest surprises are behind me.
I'm the one that knows what the dog is. Fuck me.
Dude, I warned you. I said I was gonna do that if you did that again.
So before the main event itself, there were a couple of entertaining fights. My favourite of them was my mate Nate versus Whindersson Nunes. I mean, I didn't know who my mate Nate was. He just turned up looking like a librarian. And I looked up his channel, and the guy just makes videos in Thai. Well, the guy just said fuck it, moved to Thailand, and became the biggest Thai YouTuber of all time. He did in fact know what the dog was doing, fair play to him. Otherwise, there were a couple of good fights, but most of the fights, they just highlighted the problem with influencer boxing. So obviously and fundamentally, no one's turning on these fights trying to see technical boxing. If people had a fundamental interest in the sport, they would watch the pros, but for this event, people are coming to watch the YouTubers fight. The whole point of it is the stories that are sold. You know, we have Dillon, Danis and Logan Paul, for example, who hate each other. If these were two random fuckers that didn't know each other and didn't have a presence online, no one would care, obviously. So we're not here to see technical proficiency, we're here to see like a war. And it's the exact same with KSI versus Tommy Fury. These guys aren't famous by virtue of their boxing skills. Like, obviously Tommy Fury is a professional boxer, but he would be a bum if he wasn't a Fury. But the fundamental essence of influencer boxing was lost with this fight, because they didn't approach with the intention to entertain, they approached with the intention to win. And obviously everyone wants to win. It would be stupid if you didn't go into the ring trying to win the fight. But when it comes to the absolute detriment of the quality of the fight, that's where it becomes a problem. Hypothetically, I've spent a hypothetical 20 quid to watch these fights, but I had no expectation or desire to see like a boxing masterclass. I just wanted to be entertained. But I wasn't, and I'm only going to make that mistake with my hypothetical 20 quid once. See, when you suck out the entertainment value and trade it off for competitive fighting, it's just never going to work on this model. You can do all the promo you want, but the cat's out the bag now, and everybody knows that these people aren't coming to put on a show, they're coming to win the fight. Again, the KSI Fury fight is the biggest culprit of this point, because the whole fight was like a formulaic loop. They just kept clinching, got broken up, clinched again. If I wanted to watch blokes just hug and disappoint people, I'd go back to Alcoholics Anonymous. There's just nothing fun about it, and I think honestly this event is just soured that reputation that influencer boxing had. To the same point, Logan Paul versus Dillon Danis was just equally as bad. Like, arguably the story for this one was so much better. Dillon, obviously, he's been throwing insults at Logan Paul's fiance for like months now, but he can't throw his hands as good as he can throw his insults, and the fight was just shit. And it's also at the point where there was no satisfying outcome for either side. Logan Paul didn't say what he was going to do, and he couldn't even get him out of there. And Dillon just didn't manage to pull off anything. He just flopped on the floor every time he tried. And Dillon, he didn't manage to pull off anything. He just kind of went out sad. Logan Paul hit him when he was down at the end. He threw a punch at a security guard, but after that, he just kind of dipped. And hypothetically, I feel robbed of my hypothetical 20 quid. There was just no satisfaction across the board. Some people thought the punches, they might give Logan Paul a revelation. He might come to a realization at the end of the fight. But Dillon Danis didn't throw, so we didn't get that either. We were robbed of a beautiful scene.
No, I had to give her the boot.
Did you? I thought you were really into her.
Nah.
So we didn't get that, and we still know that Dillon Danis is completely unserious, so really, it was all just pointless. But to be fair, there was one good thing that came from the event. That Hasbulla knockoff guy, Abdul Razik, whatever the fuck his name is, he ascended to heaven. And I think, honestly, he kind of deserves it because he sat through that event. With us on the lights in this arena, fair play to you, you actually provided some form of entertainment. And that guy had power, you know. If he'd shone that on KSI's forehead, he could have flashbanged everyone in the arena. But he didn't, so fair play to him. But with that, that, I think that's all I really need to talk about. It's a quick one because it's like an immediate reaction to the fights. I do feel like in 24 hours, no one's actually going to care anymore. Because again, as I've said, the fights were boring and no resolutions really came up. But if you're watching this 2 days from now, fair play to you, mate. Drop a sub, you know, you've sat through this. I'm also happy to announce that I'm about to become a YouTube boxer. I'll take the KSI fight because if he's just going to hug me for 18 minutes, I kind of need that. But otherwise, thank you for watching the video. Drop a comment and a like. Again, maybe drop a sub, you know, if you're still here. And other than that, I'm going to go train for my upcoming boxing fight in a bit.